Hello and welcome to the Talk FCB and welcome here to the preview between Olympiacos and Barcelona in the Champions League tomorrow night. We're still in the group stage, of course. This will be our fourth Champions League group stage match and we will be heading to Greece to face Olympiacos, who are currently without a point in this year's Champions League. As always, guys, the preview is coming to you courtesy of the OneFootball app, which is always in the description down below if you are interested. 91% of OneFootball app users, which coincidentally is exactly the same number as the last Olympiacos game, they believe that Barcelona will be successful in the game tomorrow night. They have voted in the app. 35,000 people so far have voted on the OneFootball app. The game itself kicks off at 8:45 local time in Barcelona, as all the Champions League games usually do. Here's the time, of course, where you are in the world to make sure that you don't miss tomorrow night's game. In the other game in the group, Juventus will face Sporting Lisbon away from home. They faced them at home in the reverse fixture, and now they're going to go away to Sporting. Of course, Barcelona currently top of the group with 9 out of 9 points, then come Juve with 6, Sporting Lisbon have 3 points, and Olympiacos, like I mentioned earlier, yet to get off the mark in the group. They're still on no points. They came to the Camp Nou, of course, very recently, Olympiacos. We didn't play brilliantly on the night in that game, but we did win 3-1 with goals from Lionel Messi, of course. Lucas Digne got on the score sheet as well, and an own goal on that night, but the ramifications from that game really could play a big part in tomorrow's game. Gerard Piqué receiving a red card. He's obviously suspended for this game, and Mascherano and Thomas Vermaelen are both injury doubts heading into this match. What I will say though is that we're very confident. We won 3 out of 3 Champions League games so far. We beat Juve very convincingly in our first Champions League match 3-0. Then we went away to Sporting, won 1-0. We beat Olympiacos 3-1 at the Camp Nou, and we will expect to go there and win convincingly, I hope. It's not going to be an easy game. You know, it's a very raucous atmosphere there. It's a very atmospheric stadium. Ernesto Valverde will only know that too well. I was reading an article earlier on today, and it basically said that in Greece they're actually awaiting Valverde's arrival more than they are Lionel Messi. They're more looking forward to see their old coach Ernesto Valverde than they are Lionel Messi, one of the greatest players ever to play the game. Valverde is very much a legend at Olympiacos. He won titles there as a coach. He coached them on 2 separate occasions, and he is really highly regarded by the Olympiacos fans. So it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of reception he gets. And he has been speaking a lot today in his press conference. He was joined in his press conference by Gerard Deulofeu, and that always gives you a good suggestion of maybe who's going to start the game. If they're in the press conference, it's usually 9 times out of 10 they're going to get a start. Deulofeu didn't start on the weekend, so it's a very good chance that possibly he could be in the team when we face Olympiacos away from home in the Champions League in this match. And we are going to move straight on to the lineup, and the reason I want to do that is because, like I say, there are some serious concerns tomorrow about the team that we're going to put out in terms of who is going to play at centre-back. Obviously, Samuel Umtiti, he has been absolutely outstanding this season. He is nailed on to start that game. But the likes of Gerard Piqué, suspended. Mascherano and Vermaelen have initially been announced in the squad, but Valverde came out in his press conference today and he actually said, I'm not even sure they're going to be fit, so they are not guaranteed to be able to play this game, and if they don't, we've got a real problem. You know, we've not called up any Barcelona B centre-backs, so those are the ones who are going to travel, and it is reported that if Vermaelen or Mascherano, who has a bit of a foot infection, if they're not fit, either Lucas Digne could play at centre-back, or even Nelson Semedo could be forced to play at centre-half. So it's going to be really interesting tomorrow. Hopefully the likes of either Vermaelen or Mascherano is going to be fit. I think out of the two, I would say Vermaelen is more likely. You know, he described Mascherano's little problem today as a foot infection, and that doesn't really sound like something that's going to be solved overnight. Maybe he could play with some injections, some, you know, pain nullifying injections. I don't know. But I just don't think he's going to be ready in time. Hopefully Vermaelen is okay. He only picked up a bit of a knock in the last, you know, in the game against Murcia. He wasn't included in the squad in the weekend, but hopefully it'll be okay to have Vermaelen and Umtiti at the centre of defence. But it just goes back to the decision in the summer. Why on earth did we loan out Marlon? He would have been very useful in moments like this. He could have played in the games against Murcia. He could have been developing as a young player, and instead we sent him out on loan to Nice, where for me, he should have been staying at the club and developing, because he had a lot of potential, a lot of talent, and I've no idea, like a lot of the players who usually do, why he was loaned out. But I think Jordi Alba's going to start at left back. I hope Semedo's at right back and not Sergio Roberto. I think once again Roberto's showing showing in that game that he can play in midfield. I'm not going to put him in my lineup here in midfield because I just don't think Valverde sees him as a midfielder. He's either going to play at right back or he's not going to play at all. That just seems the way that it is this season. I'm going to include Paulinho in my lineup. I think he's been strong in the last few games, certainly against Athletic. He gave us a bit of physicality in that midfield. He got on the score sheet. It was only a tap in, but he was there to be receiving it. He had some good link-up plays with Lionel Messi. And I think away in the Champions League, hostile atmosphere, you know, that the Olympiacos is, he could be a bit of a threat. You know, he could really go match to match with them in terms of their physicality. I think Denis Suarez starting alongside him in place of Iniesta would be a really, really good, you know, starter. I think there's a lot of players who push him for that spot, the likes of Andre Gomez. You know, you think of players like that going to come in. Obviously, you know, Valverde seems to like playing Ivan Rakitic. I just think right now, Rakitic could do with some time out of the lineup. He hasn't been at his brilliant best. I think you could do with some time out of the team, as of course probably could Luis Suarez. There were a bit of signs in the last game though that he was sort of coming back into his own. There was a little bit of confidence shown from him, but he wasn't great once again. But Valverde really doesn't seem to trust at all in Paco Alcácer, and it is very much believed that Alcácer is actually going to leave the club in January. So Messi, Suarez, and like I say, I think De La Fea will start the game. I think he deserves that. He can stretch Olympiacos. He's got a lot of pace on the break, and I think in this type of game away in the Champions League, much like Paulinho, he could have a real effect down that right-hand side. So hopefully that's the team that I see starting tomorrow. Valverde might do a number of changes to that, and like I say, that centre-back partnership really does depend on who is going to be fit. But as always, guys, leave your lineup predictions and your score predictions down below. In the weekend's game, I was actually right for the first time ever. I predicted 2-0. That's the way that it finished against Athletic, and I was very, very happy about that. So I'm going to go with Barcelona 2, Olympiacos 0. I'm going to stick with the same scoreline. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a difficult game. Hopefully we can make the breakthrough soon enough in the game, and hopefully we can go from there and continue our excellent run in the Champions League. Leave your thoughts down below, guys. I will see you very, very soon with more videos. But until then, as always, Vesca el Barça. Barça! Barça!